All right, so this will be the demo on set the scene. So again, the first step, I'm not even going to go over this because you should know by now, is to establish your UV maps. So I already went through and UV mapped some of this stuff. This one I will just reset because it got a little goofed. And so this is my wall and ground plane. So there's my ground plane, this is my wall. And the reason why the arrangement is the way you see it is that this is in the 0 to 1. So this I can send into Photoshop to put a discrete texture on it. This one I'm going to leave out of the 0 to 1 because I'm going to put a tileable texture on it. And again, reminder that objects can have independent materials on different sets of faces. So again, UV map all of the different objects in here. Again, you can see I've already UV mapped the door frame. These ones I plan on using a tileable texture for. This one is the face that is the actual door. And so this, I'm going to put a door on an image in Photoshop. So again, same object, but different methods of utilizing the UV maps for different types of textures. And then finally the steps, they're all going to be tileable texture, nothing special about the steps. So again, the UV maps are prepared. And then if you're using a tileable texture across all of these, you do also need to keep in mind that your shells should be proportionally sized. So that way when you use the checkerboard map, in fact, you can see I actually goofed. So let me fix these real quick. These should be a little bigger because they need to accurately match. Whoops. There we go. That looks about right. That the squares are the same size across these different shells. There we go. That looks accurate. Cool. So again, tileable texture for these ones. So let's actually get into the texturing part. So go ahead and select my wall area. And so again, we are using the faces, the UV shell for the wall here. I've placed in the 0 to 1. I'll switch into object mode and select my object here. Image UV snapshot. And again, make sure you tell it where it's going and give it a name. So this will be vid wall. So I've done this demo a couple times now at this point. Apply and close. All right, so that is been saved out, so we can put that in Photoshop. Let me do that first. Okay, changing my seating chart. So let's make go to my desktop. So this is my UV snapshot that I just created. There you go. That's the wall faces. We'll bring that into Photoshop. Boom. Now, reminder, when it comes in, your UV line's going to be kind of hard to see. They're in there. So what I do is I make a new layer, drop it beneath. Paint bucket is underneath the gradient tool, so click and hold paint bucket. I'm just going to paint black behind it so I can see the lines. And then you always want to work technically like between this and the lines, so you can make sure everything is going all the way past the edges, so that way you know the entire face will be textured. So I'm going to change things up from how I did it in class. So let's do peeling black painted metal. Let's see what we got here. And reminder, folks, important reminder, what we're doing here in class is what we would call educational fair use. We're practicing our skills in an educational environment, which means that we don't have to worry about, where it says all this licensable and stuff. Now, if you're trying to, post your work online in your own portfolio, or you're trying to, sell your work, again, you cannot just be going to Google willy-nilly and just grabbing things, especially when they say licensable. But again, for our purposes today, we're in an educational environment working on learning, so don't worry about that. Grab what looks right to you. So, sure, okay, this is all right. Although, I don't know. Let's see. Again, if it has watermarks, please do not remove the watermarks. that will understand if you include watermarks in your work. All right, let's go with this one. Boom. I'm going to throw this into Photoshop, paste. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to free transform this layer. Well, actually, hold on, real quick. First, I'm going to put it below my lines so I can make sure that it fits. Let me move that there. And then I'm going to scale this, using free transform, Command T. And it's already bigger than its height, which is good. And then what I'm going to do, just for funsies, is I'm going to hold down Shift, and that will allow me to distort this. And so I'll drag this so it's wide enough to cover both of these. Hit OK. And so that just sort of deformed this peeling white paint. And just for funsies, just to show you guys how you can add stuff we've already learned, I'm going to throw on a hue and saturation adjustment and clip it on. And use colorize. Let's go with I want to like a rusty red. Oh, here, I'll leave this like this here, right? And then I'll throw on a levels. And again, I will clip that on. And so with my levels, I'll move my pure white in a little bit. Move my pure black in a little bit so it gets a little darker. And then I'm just biasing this towards the white side, so that way more of my tones become darker. So before, after, just to give it some uniqueness. Alright, so first I'll do save. It's a good habit to keep copies of your Photoshop documents in case you need to go back and make tweaks. And then I will save a copy as a PNG vidwall copy. I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh, except Mr. Meyer made a mistake, so let me explain. So I left my UV lines on over my texture, which means that they will show up in Maya on the texture. So I'm going to turn this off, do save a copy again, and go to PNG. When I hit save, it will make sure I want to replace it, which I do, and hit OK. So now back here in Maya, go ahead and close my UV editor for right now. And these two faces that I have selected here, these are going to receive that material. So I'll go down to my Assign Favorite Material menu, choose Blend. And then, just for sake of being cleanly, we'll call this wall text. And we'll add color. Except, if you see this happen, that means that something broke. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And go back to selecting these faces. And I'll reassign a new blend. Wall 2. And now it should. Okay, it doesn't like me changing the name apparently. We're gonna go to Material Attributes, Wall 2, Color, File. Okay, now it's gonna work. Shouldn't have as many issues as I'm having, I don't know why. Okay, so this is called vidwall copy. Boom, and you can see that texture preview there. Open. Alright, so there's my painted wall there, which you can see also looks kind of goofy with the specular map and the light, so more on that later. So we got that. I need a tileable texture down here. So let's find you also want to spell it right. Texture, metal, corrugated metal texture. I think that's what we're looking for. Oh, no. Well, tileable metal texture. Probably find what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm looking for like this kind of stuff. But you want it as a square. This one looks good. There we go. So let's save this image. And again, key is finding it as a square. So Oh, okay. Well, here, let me do this. So we'll do, this is vid, and this is metal floor. Okay. So these faces down here, I'm just going to slap that texture on. I don't need to do any Photoshop work to it. Let's assign a new blend. This will be floor. Assign a new file node. Please don't break. Thank you. Desktop. And this is called vid metal floor. Open. And so the texture looks huge right now. So that brings me back to the UV shell, right? I'm going to turn off the checkerboard pattern. And my shell is down here. So I'm going to grab this shell. And basically, the more I'll move it up here. The more we scale it, the more it will duplicate our tileable texture. So I'm going to make this thing pretty big. And so now when I close this, now you can see, again, the sheen looks kind of weird on it with the lighting, but that's our metal ground texture. So this we'll throw some cement on. So let's see. Let me find. Now you can easily find a cement texture that's already been tiled, but for this I'm going to show you how to create your own tileable texture. This one might actually be kind of difficult. Let's grab this one. Oh, the picture is huge. Let's do this one. Oh, it says the thingy on it. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, so when you're making your own tileable textures, though, File, New, you want to make sure, one, start with a square shape. So I'm going to use 1024 by 1024. If you do 1000 by 1000, that's fine too. But powers of 2 are always welcome when it comes to computer stuff. It just means you're not wasting pixel space. That's neither here nor there. So we will then paste in this image that I got. Okay, so I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to make it bigger than my document. Boom. And let's see. Let's do like that. Okay. Now the key is we don't want to have any of that information that's outside. So I'm going to take my marquee tool, click and drag, select the whole thing, and Command X to cut, Command V to paste. Now this layer will just be that area I cut out. All of the extra stuff, let me turn this layer off, that was left outside, we don't need that. So I'm going to delete my layer 1, and now I just have this area. Now to make something tileable, we want to make sure that the seams look good. So what we want to do now is move our seams to be the center of our document. So we're going to go to Filter, Other, High Pass is here, but we're going down to Offset. So again, same menu as you would find your High Pass, Filter, Other, Offset. Now again, you want to do half of your document. My document was 1024 by 1024, which means half of that is 512 and 512. So I'm going to hit OK. So your mileage may vary on these numbers. Again, half of whatever size you made the document. Okay, and so now you can see my seams. And so what you're going to do now is use the clone stamp, and you're going to clone out those seams. And so I'm just selecting from different areas, blending. Out these lines. And just for sake of showing, my hardness value is not a full 0, but it's still relatively low. So there's some blurriness so that it blends in pretty good. So let's do this. And again, we want to get rid of these lines here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now we'll go ahead and file, save this, and since we haven't named this, this will be vid cement. And then we want to then go ahead and save a copy. PNG. Okay. So coming back into here, we're going to put that cement on this set of stairs here. So we're going to put it on the whole object. So we'll go assign, blend, blend. This will be cement. We will assign a file and then connect vid cement copy. Boom. And then if we're unhappy with how the texture looks on there, you want to duplicate the texture more, again, you can just select the shells and make them bigger. Again, the bigger you make them, the more you duplicate them, the more obvious it might be that it is tiling, right? You can see it's really obvious there. So, looks good. Nice. Okay, so again, coming back to the door, this one is set up very much like we set up the ground plane with two different styles of texturing going on here. I'm going to put a discrete texture on the door. The rest of these will get tileable texture. So I am going to go grab tileable metal texture. Blammo. What do we got here? It's really scratchy. Sure. All right, cool, boom. Vid metal door. Oh, whoops. Metal frame. There we go. So another thing that we don't need to make ourselves. So I'm gonna grab this face, which is the door. I'm gonna hold down Shift, click and drag over it. That'll select everything else. Assign a blend. Close this for right now. Blend. File. Boom. Desktop. And then this is vid metal frame. Open. Alright, and so same thing as the cement down here. Let me pull up my UV editor again. I can take these shells, if I wanted to, I can make them smaller. That will make it tile less. Or I can make them much bigger, make it tile more. Okay, and so that leaves us with the single face that is the door. So again, I place that face in the 0 to 1, object mode. When we do our UV snapshot, give it a new name. So this will be vid door. Oh, and apply and close. Vid door, open it up. So again, I'll make a new layer, put it beneath, paint bucket, painting black, boom. So there's my door. So let's find industrial door. Okay, let's find this a cool door. Okay, I like this. So we'll grab this one. I'm going to copy this. Oops, not link. Copy image. And I'm going to paste it in here. Again, I have it beneath my UV lines. And so I'll start by scaling it up. Too big. Now the thing is, this, my real door, my door in Maya is taller than the door of this picture. Make this a little wider. So I'll line this up here, hold down Shift, and drag this again to distort it down. Okay. And so now, again, make sure you turn off your UV lines before you actually save out your texture. Let's save this. This is viddoor.psd, yep. And then our save a copy. This will be what we put in Maya. PNG, vid door copy. All right, and then so for this face, we'll assign its own blend. File. Desktop, vid, door, copy, open, boom, and there you have it. So now everything has been textured. Okay, so that would be part one. So this is the very first portion of this to get done, is to make sure everything has been UV mapped, everything has been given a color map texture, either as a tileable texture or as a non-tileable texture. Let me go back into Photoshop. And so for this, go ahead and close all of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my completed ones. So vid door copy, cement copy, vid metal frame, vid wall copy, vid door. Oh, excuse me, not vid door. So vid door copy, vid metal frame, cement. I'm missing one, metal floor. There we go. There's my 5 textures. So bring these all into Photoshop. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and prepare bump maps for each of these. Filter, other, high pass. Again, between 1 and 2 pixels, I'll put this at 1.6. Save a copy. And for this one, remember, you want to denote what it is, and we don't want to overwrite the original. This is bump or -B, whatever way you want to do it. Save. Okay. Close. Don't save. Filter. Other. High pass. I'm going to lower this significantly. Put this at 1.1. Okay. Boom. Save a copy. B. Oh, close. Don't save. Alright, we're going backwards, I guess. It's fine. Image. Oh, excuse me. Filter. If you just keep using the same setting, you can use this one right here. Blap. Save a copy. Slash B. Don't save. Filter. High pass. Save a copy. Don't save. Filter. High pass. File. Save a copy. B. Close. Don't save. So let's go add these on now. So when you have materials already on your object, you can go and hold down right click and material attributes with its selected in object mode, and you'll see both of them show up here. In my case, it only brought up the wall. Interesting. Okay, anyway, so this is the floor. So I'm assigning a bump map to the floor. Again, your bump value is where that is attached. So I'll connect this. I'm doing the floor. Metal floor copy B. Okay. And now you can see with the light, when I go over this, you can see how that's creating the illusion of those little bumps. Okay, so let's go here. Excuse me, to the wall. Well, if you click in object mode, you can right click on this menu. It will also give you, or on this little arrow here, excuse me, this will give you your materials down here at the bottom that are attached to this. So in this case, we want wall 2. Okay. Bump mapping, file. Again, we'll connect another bump map under the bump value. This is wall copy B. And then you can see this is like kind of crazy. So let's go in, and this is where we'll use our bump depth. So again, I'm going to click on my object. Here I am at wall. When I click on the bump mapping, it will bring me to where I connected my file. You then have to hit this button to go backwards one, and that'll bring you to where you connected in the file, and the bump depth is how effective your bump map is. So I'm going to turn this way down because it's a little cracked out. So that's basically, that's 16%, right? And it's still a little crazy. So oh, whoops, 0.085 is what I meant, excuse me. Okay, so that works out pretty good. We'll see how it looks with the spec map, and then maybe we'll want to come back and mess with that. Okay, the cement, cool. So I click on the object, boom, I connect into the bump value. And then we're doing the cement. This is copy B. Boom. Very nice. Blend 14. See, this is why you name things. I have blend 14 and 13. Oh, okay, this is showing me, this is the metal. This is the metal. Okay. Let's go ahead and connect a file. This should be metal frame copy B. Boom. Nice. Nice. And then again, so let's trim door. So now with our door, sign, file, door copy B. I made best with the bump on that, but it's really mild, honestly. So I believe everything has now received its bump map. Floor, the wall, the cement, and then the door and the door frame. Okay, so that would be the second part of this, which brings me to part 3. Now we need to prepare our specular maps. So we will do the same thing. I will grab the base color of each and reopen them again, because again, you start from your base color. And so reminder for spec maps is that they are 2 steps to prepare. So first, image adjustments, desaturate to remove color, and then image adjustments, levels. And so we're deciding how shiny or not shiny this is. So some aspects of this where it's pure white, so I'll move this over, which means a lot of these will become pure white. In fact, I'll bring this over a touch. I'll bring my pure black in significantly, so areas it's not going to be reflective. And then finally, we're going to bias this pretty heavily towards darker tones, because we don't want the door too shiny. It should be kind of rusty. And okay, so now we'll go ahead, save a copy, and this will be copy S, as in specular. Don't save. Okay, so again, image adjustments, desaturate, image adjustments, levels. I'll bring in my pure white a smidgen, be like right there, move pure black over a touch, and then again we're going to bias this heavily towards the dark. So we'll do something like that. In fact, we're going to really deafen this. So only very few areas where it's reflective on there. This is a rusty wall. Okay. And then we'll save a copy. So this is vidwall/s. Don't save. Image adjustments. Desaturate. Image adjustments. Levels. So let's bring this way in. Let's bring this way in. And move this again way over here. Primarily dark, not super reflective. You know what? Let me undo that. We'll leave this one a little bit more reflective. It's not as rusty as the other surfaces. That's pretty good. Save a copy. Metal floor copy/s. Don't save. Alright, the cement. Let's make sure it's desaturated. Alright, it was. Adjustments. Levels. So your cement, if it's polished, it'll be kind of shiny. So, in fact, we'll leave it like that. So this cement will be kind of polished. Save a copy. /s. Boom. And then close, don't save. And then one final one, adjustments, desaturate, image, adjustments, levels. This one also will leave fairly shiny. I'm gonna bring pure black in, bring pure white in, and we're gonna bias this towards the black to make most of this stuff pretty shiny. Although maybe I'm gonna bring my pure white back here so it's not as crazy. And I'll move the pure black over. It gives me some impurities that aren't gonna be shiny. Cool. All right. Boom, boom, save a copy, /s. Boom, boom. Okay. So one final pass through. So here we are, floor, specular color, file, this is the floor that I'm doing, metal floor S. And let me do the wall real quick. Floor, wall, specular color, file, wall S. Okay. So now take a look at how the spec map, see when we rotate around the wall, it doesn't have that uniform sheen anymore. You can see some of the highlights picking up like right here. It's really not that shiny. The ground though, right? You can see that bump map is doing work. The shininess shows up when you rotate around. So, okay, let's go here. Cement, specular color, file, desktop, cement S, open. And so, you can see how I pan up and down, you can see these whiter spots getting a little shinier. And then finally, the door, specular color, file, so now when we rotate around this, it should be not nearly as shiny on the door. You can still see that sheen on the uniform sheen on the door frame. So now let's change that. So the trim, specular color, file, desktop. Yeah, metal frame. And now you can see as I rotate around, it's not nearly as shiny. But you can see it catches that shine. So with that being done, this is our scene. All of my objects have been UV mapped. Each of them has a material or materials that is a color map, a bump map, and a spec map. And then the final thing is, under this panels menu here, I've given you a fancy viewer camera that's locked in place. You can see what it looks like. So this is what, for lack of a better word, this is what yours might look like in game. So we went from here to here. All right. So that is the full and complete demo of what is now your final, the Set the Scene project. Okay? So thank you for watching.